first rule of the Fallout 4 Next Gen update, we do not talk about how the mod lists have been broken yet again. That's my cheeky way of trying to tell you, hey everyone, I saw Fight Club for the first time. Amazing movie, by the way. Link down below if you want to see us talking about it over on Retro Rewind. Amazing time with Locke and I. Please check that out if you got the extra time today. But nonetheless, today we are talking about here the Fallout 4 Next Gen update, and I've played it on PS5. On PC, tested the quest, tested the performance. I got some reports from both sides of the spectrum. Excited to talk about it today. The wait is over. I'm interested to see what happens with the player counts now. Fallout 76 was on a massive uptick. Is it going to continue with Fallout 4 Next Gen's update being out? I hope so. We'll see what happens, but nonetheless, let's break it all down. So starting off, you get 3 new quests with this Next Gen update. You get Echoes of the Past, you get When Pigs Fly, and you get Hollow's Eve. We're going to run through each of them right now. So the best one and the biggest one is Echoes of the Past. The Enclave has returned to the Commonwealth Wasteland. They're here looking for missing equipment, and you're going to interfere in that mission. So it starts off with you tracking down a radio signal and fighting some Enclave soldiers, immediately getting some pretty good loot, like the XO2 power armor. You'll eventually get a Tesla cannon at the end of this all. It is an absolutely incredible weapon that, as you'll see here, I'm doing a ton of damage with. This is a full melee build. This is my Bastila Shan character from when I did the Road to Platinum over on Twitch when I used to stream there years ago. It's that character that I loaded over. We'll talk more about transferring saves and how that goes, but this is a strength-based character using the Tesla cannon. This thing is a game changer. It is so strong, but you not only get that weapon, you get the Colonel's uniform, you get new settlement items. So after you finish the main quest line, there are other Enclave encampments that you can find on the open world map. So they've added a couple of new things for you to discover. And as you shut down these encampments, each of them have their own little pamphlet that you can pick up and read, and it'll give you new settlement items. So eventually you can go back to the settlement. You can add like the Enclave flag. You can add Enclave barricades. You can tweak your power armor. And what's actually really interesting about the Enclave power armor you get in this game is you can add like Tesla coils. You could add Tesla upgrades onto your bracers and do extra unarmed damage. You can actually add one to your chest plate, your torso piece, and it'll do extra energy damage whenever anyone's nearby. So this thing is mega OP. I absolutely love it as someone who adores the Enclave. Like from the logo to the faction, just they're my favorite faction in Fallout. So I was really excited about this one. I think it delivers. I'm glad it's the biggest part of the new free additions. All these, by the way, if you do not know, are arriving through Creation Club. So they were previous creations now being released for free. So this one adds a number of new weapons, settlement items, and pieces of armor. So you can fire that up right away. And I love that they also fill out the Glowing Sea a bit more. I felt that place was a bit scarce on new locations, and so I was happy to see that one of the Creation Club items had actually targeted that. So you can go ahead and check that one out. After that, there's When Pigs Fly. These next 2 quests I'm going to talk about, these are definitely shorter ones, comparatively speaking. The first one may take you an hour to do everything. The other 2 will maybe combine for half an hour tops. Like very short-winded content here. Nonetheless, When Pigs Fly is hilarious. So you meet a trader and you find out there's a rival trader, and you're going to find this new recipe that'll allow you to make some crazy weapons. Baseball launchers, a fat man that shoots piggy banks. Like, you'll be able to do some crazy stuff. Now, I accidentally fired off this piggy bank and destroyed the quest giver. So you can actually get another unique weapon here, which it's called the Flacker, and it uses a Nuka type of ammunition. I reloaded my save because I went, oh no, I killed the quest giver. Like, what else are they going to give me? And when I killed him again, he didn't drop it. So I don't know if like that was a bug, and we'll talk about potential bugs in just a moment here. But yeah, this is one that gives you some really cool makeshift weapons that you can mess around with. You can see here I'm like blowing up a vehicle with baseballs. So yeah, you get some really awesome stuff to play around with. New ways to play Fallout 4 is always good in my book. Last quest is Hollow's Eve. So at first I was testing this all on PlayStation because I had the physical copy on Steelbook, so I just threw it in my PlayStation. It automatically updated me telling me, hey, there's an upgrade for Fallout 5. Got that from the PlayStation Store, started downloading that separate SKU. The save transfer was great, so that worked just fine. Loaded up my old PS4 save from the Road to Platinum series. And what's great about this is, say you're a trophy hunter, there is a separate trophy list for Fallout 5, so you can get the platinum again. So right away when I loaded in, I got my settlement happiness trophy, which immediately made it far more tantalizing. But once I leveled up, I got all of the level 1 through 50 trophies. So might have another road to platinum in me here. Kind of can't resist the calling, but even though I've done it once, why not do it twice? But yeah, there is a separate trophy list here in case you are interested. But Hollow's Eve on PS5, in my experience, was bugged. To start this quest, you have to listen to a radio signal called the Mysterious Signal, and it wasn't working. I did everything from shutting down the app to reloading my save. This quest just wasn't working, and I went over to my PC because I was going to test here anyway to see how the update had fared there, and it worked on my PC. So I got to experience it. This is the quickest one of the bunch. You head to a new location where they were having a big Halloween party. It's really cool visually. You fight a bunch of hilarious looking enemies that have like jack-o'-lantern helmets. You get this decapitalist head, which is like a TV for a head. I thought this was a really cool piece for the power armor. It has a mini puzzle where you just have to look at some pieces of the environment and put in a code, and then you get a bunch of new Halloween items that you can put down in your settlement. As someone who's not crazy about the settlement building anymore, this is nice to have if you want to decorate your stuff all year round to have Halloween, or if you want to go back to Fallout 4 around Halloween and utilize these items, you can do so. But out of the three, this is my least favorite, and also the one that happened to be the buggiest. Still, it worked fine on PC. Maybe it'll work for you on PlayStation, but just I thought information worth passing along. Echoes of the Past, definitely my favorite. Had the most weapons, had the most armor, had the most meaning behind it, had my favorite faction, so easy pick for me. Now, the question is performance with this next-gen update. I sometimes think that the downtown Boston performance for Fallout 4, it's a bit over-exaggerated how bad it can get. Like, it doesn't, to me, in my experience, again, I platinum Fallout 4 on PS4, so someone tell me if I'm wrong out here, but my experience was not like, oh my god, I'm skipping all over the place like I'm watching a slideshow, I'm looking at a PowerPoint presentation. I never had this experience that I seem to read online often with Fallout 4 in downtown, but what I will say is when playing it on PS5, this ran extremely well. Not only did it run well, but the load times were the more notable factor. In and out of buildings, loading into the Commonwealth, just like that. Really, really quick. This is all the more important to point out because I went, well, yeah, of course, next-gen update, this is how it should work. So then I go over to PC because I'm over there trying to try this Hollow's Eve quest out. And while I'm loading in, I'm thinking, taking a bit longer than I remember. Whatever, first load in, new update. Maybe something's happening on the back end, whatever, right? As I'm exploring this game more and more, this PC version might need more optimization after this next-gen update because these load times can be upwards of 2 minutes, which I was stunned by. I thought, okay, there might be a bump in the road here or there, but to have, as someone who's played most of Fallout 4 on PC, like that's my predominant platform for the game, to see it go from relatively quick load times to the longest I've experienced in this game across any platform I played it on was very surprising. Not only that, but the main change I noted beyond the load times was that in some instances, my frames were far lower than they had ever been any other time I played the game. Like some of the recent Fallout 4 gameplay that you've seen on this channel was directly captured on PC recently before the next-gen update, and I never had any problems running this game on 60. I've had buddies who've been playing Fallout 4 recently. The game's crashing on them and stuff. I haven't had that experience, but it's always ran just fine for me. I'm not saying it's perfectly optimized, but now we're seeing here with the next-gen update, it's not running as well as it used to in my personal experience. Not only that, but the load times have become egregious. Other thing I noticed when I was over on PS5 is there were a lot more visual bugs. These aren't the end of the world, but again, just worth pointing out since we're in the middle of critic mode. So when I'm looking around Boston, I'm seeing a lot more visual flickering. Sometimes, as you'll see here, the cloud is appearing and disappearing depending on where you are. And even when you run toward it, it doesn't really stop until you get very close. There are like windows in the distance that are flickering. I have to admit, and this isn't like I'm saying on the level of how broken it is, but it does give me Fallout 76 vibes in that I remember Fallout 76 had awful visual flickering, like Z fighting like crazy with some objects in the environment. It was really bad. And there are moments in the Commonwealth now, particularly on console, where I see more visual flickering than I ever have before. And that's also a little frustrating that this next-gen update was delayed for so long, and I imagine part of the strategy, now we're seeing the success of 76, was to hope that people would hop into 76, which they have, and pull more people in that direction. But seeing how long we had to wait for the Fallout 4 Next Gen update, and that it's not coming out, well, honestly, I expected it to be squeaky clean with how long we had to wait. This was announced at the end of 2022. It's now a quarter of the way through 2024. You know, I mean, I have to give some level of grace at times, but I don't know if this is the right moment for that. I feel like this should have been a pretty squeaky clean update. So it's a little disappointing that I'm seeing not just visual bugs, but like frame rate dips. It's not doing well on PC in my experience. Load times, especially, I find to be inexcusable. This game's installed on an SSD. It should be running through just fine. But over on consoles, I'm getting the best experience now. So maybe we will be pursuing that second platinum trophy, which was one of my favorite things to find out. I was really happy to learn that it's a separate trophy list and that it doesn't immediately migrate over. Again, if you load in that old save file, a couple of trophies will probably pop for you if you're loading in something that's completed a lot of quest lines. It's not going to retroactively pop every quest that you've completed. For example, if I go ahead and finish something at the end of the main storyline, I don't know if it's going to pop all the ones beforehand. In my experience, that's never happened. But it also depends on what triggers Bethesda programs in for trophies and achievements that determine what prerequisites need to be hit for those to pop in the first place. But it was good to see that a new trophy list was there, and the save transfers are great. For Xbox, you have smart delivery, so you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. But for PlayStation, I was happy to see that after having both versions installed, it worked relatively quickly, and I actually had access to my old save files. So the Fallout 4 Next Gen update is pretty good overall. It's good to know the load times on consoles are fantastic. It's amazing to know that maybe the narrative about downtown Boston running as horribly as people say it does can be put to bed finally, almost a decade later. I think the new quests are pretty good. And I also kind of wish that they did a little bit more with the new content that tied into the TV show, because I think once you're done with this new stuff, for me, it's not like the magic wore off. I love Fallout 4, but I do wish they pumped a little bit more new stuff in here. I can't help but look at Skyrim Anniversary Edition and how much new content that got through Creation Club. I mean, they dumped the entirety of Creation Club in there. And I think it's because they were planning to launch the Creations system, so they knew people would transfer from one area to the next, so you may as well make money off it. Kind of big brain of Bethesda when you really think about it. But nonetheless, I hope that at some point Fallout 4 does get it, because there are some decent Creation Club items in here, not just the fun tie-in ones like Doom items and Prey items. I'm talking about ones like the pint-sized slasher, you know, having them in Fallout 4 and the equipment you can get from there. Like, some of the loot you can get from Creation Club in Fallout 4 is more exciting than what you can do in Skyrim. Skyrim does have the edge in questing, but like Fallout 4 has stuff such as the Capital Wasteland, and it makes you wonder, because it's strangely reserved for the time period of Fallout and at the hype it's at, where you think they would give you more. And with the rumors of the Fallout 3 remaster, you saw DuPont Circle in a data mined Fallout 76 Expedition. Then you know you have the Capital Wasteland in Fallout 4. Does Bethesda give that out for free around the time of an announcement of Fallout 3 remaster? I'm trying to think on their level now, because it's clear with the success of 76 and how we're starting to hear that the way they launched things was intentional, like waiting on Fallout 4, letting people go into 76, not making the choice that easy for folks. It's clear that they play the long game sometimes. In the case of Fallout 4, announcing a next-gen update and releasing it over a year later, like, they'll play the long game if they got to get something back up on its feet, which has worked out for 76. So with that logic, some people I read online were going, man, I wish there was more here. And I would say, based on what we're seeing with Bethesda as of late, it's possible we will see more stuff given out for free, more updates coming to Fallout 4 at some point down the line. Just, I think Bethesda's waiting for the right time to drop certain pieces for free, and otherwise want your dollar for it. If you're curious about things like that Fallout 3 addition into Fallout 4, we have a video of that here on the channel. Naturally, as someone who loves Fallout 3, I had to make a dedicated video to that. But nonetheless, the Fallout 4 Next Gen update is here. I have to say, I've been enjoying my time with it. Couple of bugs here or there, little disappointing for sure, especially with the wait. I didn't like that one of the quests just outright didn't work. I don't like to see all the visual issues, and I don't like that the PC version isn't loading as fast. So we'll be seeing if Bethesda responds to this, if they plan on adding any more updates to the game moving forward. Naturally, you know, I'll be on top of it. Are you playing the Fallout 4 Next Gen update? Let me know down below. I'm keen to get your thoughts, so fire away. Other than that, I'll catch you all in the next video. Again, if you want to check out Retro Rewind, that will be linked in the description down below, where you can see us talking about Fight Club, among many others, from Attack on Titan to Pulp Fiction to the Fallout Season 1. We got a ton of stuff going on over there. It's a really exciting time, and I appreciate you giving it a look. But otherwise, take great care of yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.